I'm good. I put my sage on, so it kind of looks like I'm in a Cheech and Chong movie indirectly.
Uh, Perfect.
It's just like, yeah, that little smoke. Are you a sager?
Um, well, it's interesting. We have a song actually called Sage and Cedar. And But I don't sage myself. I am definitely into like the incense and like Palo Santo and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I got that vibe reading about you both. Just like these people sage, they put the little incense on before a music session.
oh totally. Yeah, you've
Yeah,
you've got to get in the vibe for
yeah.
sure.
Is there like when it comes to getting inspiration for your music, do you feel like you need to, put the incense and have like 20-minute quiet time, or is it just one of those things that like this overwhelming energy comes in and it's like, get the guitar, we're gonna make a hit?
Uh, it's all of those things actually. It really depends. Like sometimes I'll be walking around like outside and I'll just get an idea for something that'll just hit me and I'll be like, okay, I have to run home and like get a guitar and just like belt this out and But then other times, like I spend a lot of my time writing in the mornings. I find kind of getting up early and not being on my phone, not being connected to the world, just kind of allowing myself to kind of ease into the day. I find that's mostly how I write because I can really think clearly that way. And then things just kind of tend to like seep up like like out of the ether that way. So
Hmm.
it really varies. Yeah.
Yeah, do you feel like when you have a hit song? Because I think that's the controversy amongst artists. Like, there's some artists who are like, I don't care about hits. Like, I don't want to be famous, but yet we're all trying to publicize our music and get attention.
Mm.
Do you ever make a song that you're like, this is going to get attention?
That's interesting. I think you never really know for sure, but there are some songs that just seem to really click, that just kind of makes sense. And
Yeah.
I mean, being a hit is like there's so many other factors that kind of go into that 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 would be great. I would love to have, hits. That would be awesome. But to me, it's not really it's not really something that I think you can plan for or even make happen. It's kind of out of your hands, really. So all you can do is just, write your best song and just try to be really inspired and follow those leads when you get the inspiration.
When you say other factors, do you mean other factors as a creative or other factors as a creative with a team? The publicist, the manager, the release date, like,
Mm,
because I feel like sometimes I know, but that world doesn't,
mm.
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like that like a song is a hit, or
Yeah.
or you really believe in something, but other
Yeah.
people don't quite see it yet.
Or that one of the most frustrating things that I have seen with a lot of artists is release dates. You
Mm,
wrote this 3 years ago. And
hmm
it's like, what is this going to come out? I felt this before, but I feel like as a creative, you always know when something is special versus your team having to be convinced and trying to work with them to just get this thing out there and get it out right.
hmm hmm Absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah, I guess I just meant there's just so much that's out of your hands, really. I mean, it's like as far as radio play or anything like that, I mean, there's so many other decisions that get made by the programmers and um by your team as well. I guess we still work with a pretty small team and we've been lucky so far, like that, they've really kind of believed in us and have really helped us kind of push the word out, and that's all been great. Um, yeah, but yeah, I just feel there's just so much luck involved. Like, it's kind of like a viral video or something. It's like who could say like what's really going to like take off out there. You know, there's so many other factors, like what's going on in the world, what are the other trends, like what are, you know, where are people at? It's just some
For
people come along with like really great music at just before their time or something, and like it's only really picked up on later on. And yeah,
That's
there's
terrifying.
yeah, I know.
That's the
I
most
know.
terrifying thing you've said.
I'm here to instill fear and terror.
Fear.
And
I
that's
thought
that's
you
my
staged. You told me you did incense. Why so much fear? No, but I mean, it's absolutely true. And it's so funny because, like, as you were talking, I believe in Kismet a lot. And by the way, my dog is pulling me. That's why I'm like, I believe in Kismet a lot, which is like when like luck and hard work kind of like make love and then make
hmm
you public. But
hmm
I always, I don't know, because you know you talked about going viral and just there's these arguments that there's a formula, and then sometimes there's
hmm
this argument that it really is just luck, and sometimes I'm in the in between of feeling like maybe it's both, that you follow a
hmm
formula until one day the time and the universe align to make that formula work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like there's no luck without hard work and like persistence and all of that kind of thing. What's that? There's a saying that's like um success is like hard work meets luck and opportunity or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, it kind of takes all of those ingredients.
Yeah, I did an interview with
Mm,
the artist, and he was a country artist, and his album was called Hard Luck, and he said it was because he was both inspired and incredibly frustrated by the fact that he's worked so hard for so long, and now things are picking up.
hmm
And he was just like, you know, why now? But like grateful, but it's I imagine that it must be something because you know I read about Protection Island and just like making all these firelit jams. I imagine that part of your journey is kind of figuring out when things pick up, how they're picking up, and feeling most importantly like they do, like feeling. I think as an artist, it's really hard to feel like you're actually progressing, and when you
hmm
do, to actually enjoy it.
hmm Yeah, because it any kind of progression is often like very incremental and like very gradual, and so it is really, and I mean it's kind of like it's often I feel like it's often like never enough, you know, like if you can get stuck in this kind of mindset where you think like, okay, my goal is for this song to have, you know, 1,000 streams on Spotify, and then you get there, you're like, okay, now I
Hard.
want 10,000. You're like, now I want 100,000. Now I want a million. And then you get to a million, you're like, oh, a million's nothing. Like, feel like if if you're not careful, you can like be stuck in that sort of thing where you're never happy with it. So
Yeah.
that's something that we've both really tried to set goals before we do something, and like, okay, what are we realistically get going to be happy with this? Like we book all these shows, like we've been playing these, our first real tour, like our first time that we've ever gone out and done uh like a big block of shows, and it's just been amazing. Like we're playing, you know, probably like venues that are on the smaller side, but to see like a room full of people that are there to see us in a place that we've never been before and that are enjoying the show, it's just like, yeah, this may not be like the end goal, but this is a goal, and
Yeah.
it's pretty special. So it's really important to kind of like always check in on that stuff too.
Do you feel like being with somebody in a duo helps you kind of check your humility in a way? Like, because one thing that I've noticed, particularly in bands and duos, is that like, you know, you're with this person who can feel low when you're high and who could
Mm,
feel really thankful for this moment when you're like, what are you on crack? Like this was horrible. Like, you know, trying to, it's not always about matching your creativity, it's also about matching your definitions of joy. Do you feel
mhm.
like there is like what about being in this duo has kind of redefined joy to you, and how do you feel she kind of checks you to like, hey,
Mm.
humble yourself, this is actually going well.
Yeah, yeah, Jenna's really good about that. Um, we try to really kind of encourage each other. And I mean, a big thing about this project was that I had been a guitar player mainly for most of my like career so far. She had been a singer mainly and also a songwriter.
Hmm.
Um, and I was really wanting to write songs and to sing and to kind of get out there and like have my own like project. And she was wanting to also do more of her own thing and also play guitar and learn sort of some new skills. And so we both, it's the a lot of the concept of the band for me is based on this, both of us wanting to try something that we haven't done before. And so we both have certain vulnerabilities or certain sensitivities in the band that we each can really kind of help each other, kind of like encourage each other and just always be supportive of just giving it a shot and just kind of, um, doing these things that we've always wanted. So it's really like a pretty core principle of the band. And so I think we, it's not always easy, but we definitely try to bring that into the day to day of, all the work that we're doing. And when we're playing shows, just being patient with ourselves and yeah, just kind of like just finding joy in the process is has been pretty important for us.
Mm, I love that because it means that you found permission in each other to kind of
Mm,
explore these parts that um I feel like every artist has like the what they're good at, what they've been told they're good at, and the thing that like deep down inside, they're like, I think I would be good at this, but like everybody's so obsessed with this part.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Where it's
Yeah,
like everybody's so obsessed with this part, but I actually think I'd be like really good at making beats, but I'll never explore it. And then you meet somebody who's like, do that while I do this.
totally.
So
uh,
yeah, maybe you should have called the record Permission. Let's talk about
that's good.
permissions.
That could
Yeah.
be a good song. I really like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good song. That could be a good song, and please like give me a shout out when you write it. Because I also think like as a songwriter, I'm obsessed with like the nuance of things. Like I want to be the clearest, most detailed person at the same time. Like I
Mm,
don't think, and that's one of the arguments I have like with some of my best friends that I collab with. Like I don't mind like a lyric that says I'm in pain, but
mm,
they love like one of my friends is a great songwriter. They love like the details, like you were wearing your sweater and then it was deep red, and you're like, okay, okay.
mm,
Do you find that like as a like in making the your new music, what has been the most interesting thing in terms of like seeing your differences but also growing in them as songwriters?
mm. That, that's really interesting. I think it's something I always try to bring in those like those little details and try to
Yeah,
set a scene with with like kind of sense bound kind of imagery
yeah.
when I'm writing. Sometimes it could feel a bit forced, but
It could
uh,
feel like a little bit like if you are like my friend, it can definitely feel like we're writing Wuthering Heights. This is the beginning of our English lit paper.
yeah,
It was a moonlight under a dark, stormy January, and it's like, okay, let's get to the pain.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine
Yeah,
she checks you on that.
for sure. And yeah, yeah, we have like very different ways of writing. I'm very jealous of how Jenna is like she a song will well, for example, we tell the story of one of the songs that is on the EP called "See You There," and it was while we were living on Protection Island during the panty, and we were
Is that
sort
what
of,
we're calling it now? The panty?
yeah, it's a fun. I find it's like a fun twist on it. Yeah, it makes it
Panty?
it
Debbie
just makes it
Ryan
a fun
theme?
little thing. Yeah, it's just like a fun bar that you go to or something. We're just
Yeah,
going to the panty.
panty.
It's all good.
A 3-year panty.
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
No
So,
worries.
yeah, so while we were living there, I mean, we were writing, and we weren't doing much else. Like we were both kind of out of work. We couldn't play shows. We couldn't really do any of that. But friends of hers were putting together a fundraiser for a women's shelter,
Mm.
and they had reached out to her to if she wanted to like provide a song, and she was kind of torn because didn't feel like there was a song that she had written before that would make sense, and that she felt really summed up how she felt about um I guess shelters, and just the process of like kind of helping people and comforting them, and just kind of like wrapping like your arms around them and just like saying like we support you. And so and so it was due the next day, and then she just wrote this like incredible song in like a few hours. It just like poured out with all this amazing imagery, and every time I hear it, it chokes me up, and I cannot do that. It takes me. I'm like a carpenter. I have to like go to work with my lunch pail at the same time every day, and like sit down and like slowly craft something over like many weeks.
Yeah.
It takes me time, and I just think it's so cool, and it really like it inspires me to try to let go and just try to sort of like flow with words a bit more, and not try to force something as much, or that sort of thing. So I think the fact that we have different writing styles, that really they complement each other, and we're often able to sort of fill in the gaps of where the other person gets like stuck or something. So
Do
it's
you
worked out well.
do you think that for you it's kind of like an overthinking problem? Is it one of those like, I want to write about experiences I've never had. How do I get there? Like, is it kind of going back to that idea of permissions? Like, what do you
Mm,
think is stopping you from giving you the permission to flow?
that's a good question. I think I can be perfectionistic, which when it comes to music can be a good thing, like for sure. I think.
I think it's
I
one of the most annoying things, actually. I know because I think it crushes you in a way.
It does. It is. It's a blessing and a curse, really. So I just try to rein it in, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that. And
Yeah.
but I think that is sort of what sometimes I can get a little bit. I just have to have rules with myself now, where it's like, okay, I'm not going back to that song. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try to pick that apart again. That's it. Like that's what I wanted to say, and like I think when I first started writing, I would often get stuck in these cycles of like of wanting to rewrite songs rather than write a new song.
Oh, that's so
It's like,
dangerous.
yeah, it's like okay, here's this song, and like, oh, I think it should be a little bit more like this. And it took me a long time to really realize that like, no, that song is that song, and like just move on and just write a new one, because
Yeah.
if you want to do something different, I mean, I learned the hard way of like changing a song, like completely twisting it into something else, and then just kind of realizing like, no, that doesn't work either. Like it was better like the way it was. And so
Yeah.
it's been some lessons, but it gets easier and easier, and it does flow more and more now. So
I think the
it's coming
song
around.
in our head, I think one of the reasons we change it so much is that like the song in our head will never be the song that comes out.
Mm,
I think that honestly, because I've written so many great songs and some of them I've completely trashed because it was like in my head, it was this orchestra moment. Jesus personally came down and like composed the violins, and then you make the song. You're like, where the hell is the violins? Like, I didn't even put violins in this. There's, like it never, the reality never matches the dream.
It's true. It kind of begs the question, like where music really comes from, because if it doesn't come from your mind or from what you visualize, it's like where is it coming from?
I think sometimes it's the ether because sometimes I'll think of
Mm,
a song or I'll pick up like this is going to be the newest trend. And then like Drake comes out. And
mm,
you're like, wait, like I knew house was going to be popping soon.
mm,
Like as crazy as it is, I think that, and you were talking about it earlier, like you've had moments where you're like, I got to run back and get this song out of me. I think
mm,
there is this like ether higher power of music, and part of like making your reality and actually getting success is whether or not you believe enough in that higher
mm,
power that you
mm,
can actually be a part of it
mm,
without being it. Like I can get inspirations for songs and I can acknowledge the spark, but I have to understand that if I am the flame, I'm going to burn differently. Like there will be no violins in the song. Sorry.
mm.
You heard it in your head, but when you tried to make it, like there will be no violins.
Hmm. Yeah, do you ever write something that when you play it for yourself, or you sing like melody or something, that you think, oh, that's already a song, like this must be a song that I had heard, that I'm just copying, and then realize that, like, oh no, this isn't a song. It's just weird how like music can feel like it's something that you've never heard before, but it already feels familiar, and it's like the puzzle pieces all just kind of like line up.
Yeah. I think well, I that kind of was is touching upon this kind of feeling like when you have a hit or you have something special. And I think that I've had that feeling a lot of times, and it's because I I'm trying to accept and believe that I can be common. I can be like mainstream or I can be popular. And I think that
Mm,
so many times as artists, one of our biggest issues is confidence because there's only
mm-hmm,
like 10 pop stars when you really think about it. Like, how far can you go?
mm,
Which is where
right.
joy comes in, where it's like, am I really having fun knowing I might not be Harry Styles and I would
Mm,
really like Harry Styles' money? you
yeah, yeah.
know, like that would be really nice. So
Yeah.
I think that there's so many levels of confidence that you need as an artist. And sometimes
Mm.
when you're creating something like that, you think you've heard it because you can't believe that you could be heard.
Oh, interesting. That's a really interesting way of looking at that.
Yeah. Like I can't,
Yeah.
like I can make a Harry Styles hit. Will I ever have his lifestyle, his fame?
Mm,
I don't know. But I
mm,
think because we attribute his music with his power, like his fame, his lifestyle, there's something sometimes oddly enough, like the social sphere cuts the confidence. Like, no, 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 no way. Like, I can't make a radio hit. I'm not on radio.
mm. Right. Yeah, but I mean, if those people thought that, like if like Harry Styles or like Drake or someone thought that way, then they wouldn't be them either, right? It's like
Yeah.
you need the confidence. It's like they probably have so much confidence and so much like belief in what they're doing,
Yeah.
and that's what you have to have this like just unflinching, unshakable like confidence and like belief in what you're doing, to be able to have the audacity to want to be a pop star, to like, or to
Yeah.
want to be in front of like thousands or like or even millions of people. So
Just to believe
it's
that
interesting.
anybody can see you.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel like I also like to think that people who find that kind of success would probably be fine if they didn't, like, as well. It's like I feel like they're probably doing it for the right reasons because they love to do it. And I feel like you have to love what you're doing so much to be able to work that hard on it, to be able to keep getting back up after, after letdowns or after failures or anything. You have to love it so much that you're just willing to like go through all of the struggle just to get, to get like beyond that stuff. And so it's almost like a test. It's like a weird sort of test that
Yeah, like a
I like.
cosmic test.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they wouldn't love it if it wasn't that way either. And there's something admirable about that. Because I think
Mm,
sometimes as artists, we try to act like, no, I don't want fame. Like, it's not about the money. And it's like, yeah, like there is a level to that. Like, who wouldn't want
hmm
to provide for themselves through their dreams, through their talents, through something that gives them so much peace? And I think what
hmm
fascinates me about people like, the megastars is that I think they really wanted that level of fame and that level of money, and they love it.
hmm
And they don't deny it as much as they deny the negative, which is like, if you're that famous, you will also be that judged. Like that
Right.
bothers them. But I don't think they would have wanted any other way than to play like their song for 100,000 people in every country they go to.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you probably would have to want that because
Yeah.
how else would you get there? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's too exhausting. Like we're
Hmm
exhausted.
Yeah.
Like it's like getting what you said, our goal is to get 1,000 streams. Like even that is hard.
For sure. Yeah.
Like getting, especially in this sphere where I think the panty like made everybody think they're an artist or think they can be one, which is
Mm,
good and bad, but it made the
mm,
field kind of like extremely widely opened. And there's always light to that and dark, which is like you're going to find like some really great artists that would have never given themselves a chance. And then you're going
hmm
to find like some like, oh, like get away. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to get a 50-50. But I think
Hmm
we've been in this interview for like 30 minutes.
Oh wow, it's really flown by.
I know this is so good, but like,
It was really nice chatting with you.
I know it's been really nice chatting with you. You're very inspirational. I just don't want you to be a perfectionist anymore.
Okay.
I
I will
want you
work
to
on it.
flow because you've got it. I like, especially with your new work, there's some magic there. And I know as an ex perfectionist or a struggling perfectionist, we could kill our magic,
Yes,
you know?
for sure. You're often your own worst enemy.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
just, I think the lines blur between like actually believing there's something wrong with this song and just fearing that nobody will like it. Because
hmm
I think that's is an issue too. Like, I know the song is good, I like it, but there's something really crushing about like being the greatest person to get 6 streams.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, and you're not saying that's the fear, but that's the fear.
hmm Yeah. Well, I mean, I think these songs and this project kind of in general is in a way for me letting go of some of that like those those blocks and the like perfectionism and just accepting that it's a process and the first thing that you put out or the first songs. I mean, R- Rocky Mountain Feeling was the first song ever released that I've sung on. And so just accepting like that in itself is a huge accomplishment, and that I think is a testament to letting go of a lot of what held me back before from like doing that.
Do
So
you
that's what
hear it back? Like, are you still listening to it?
I can listen to it sometimes. I'm not the type of person who can like listen to their things that much, but I mean, especially playing the songs live has been really joyful, and seeing people dance and like sing along and has been really magical.
Yeah. You should
So
feel
it's all been
proud.
it's well,
You should
wow,
feel really proud. You
thank you.
sound good. And I think that like that must be really exciting when you perform live and you're like, oh, I'm the singer. Me?
Yeah, yeah,
Let me just get my mouth to the mic. I guess this
yeah,
one's my hit.
yeah. I own this room now for the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So buckle up, everybody.
Yeah. There's something really godly about that, I think.
It's it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for this Rocky Man feeling interview. I wish you all the luck and I'll send you the link when live. But this was awesome. I learned a lot and the struggle continues with our perfectionism, but we're going to get
A- Absolutely.
there.
I see you. We're both recovering perfectionists.
Yeah.
I just support you, and I actually look forward to like checking out your music as well.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Let's go with the flow and have a great
All
day.
right, sounds
I'll
good.
see you.
You too, Deandra. Okay, take
Bye.
care. Bye.